Welcome into SportsSource.tv. We appreciate you joining us for the overtime segment. Your phone okay there, Mark?
I'm good.
All right, very good. Is my desk okay?
Yeah.
Care about your phone. This segment brought to you by Jinx Logos. You see right there, 865-755-7767 is the number to Jimmy Andrews. That's the owner. He's a working owner. You call him. He's going to do the business with you. You're going to meet him. He's going to work with you hand in hand with your company to promote and position your business. He does a great job. I can't say enough good words about him. Trust me on this. Jinx Logos. Okay. Bob Hodge, freelance contributor to the Knoxville News Sentinel. Mark Pankratz, former Vol aide, former player under Bruce Pearl at Milwaukee. Chuck Cavaleras from Southern Golf Central Magazine and .com.
Yes.
Is it .com or .net?
.com.
.com. I'll find some way to butcher that.
That's right.
All right. I had a few questions we didn't have a chance to get to today. How big is this hire for Dave Hart?
Can we say career changing? Can we say make or break? Can we say more important than anything he's ever done before?
Wow. I wonder what his wife would think of
Yeah.
that. His kids.
Well, let's compare it to some at UT. It's Neyland Stadium sized.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's huge.
If he blows it, I said this Friday, you and I were together on 6 News, and I made the comment that I think it's a monster decision for him. But the more I think about it, we did touch on some of this in the show. If you're the Tennessee athletic director and football continues to do well, your finances continue to go up, look at Doug Dickey. I think you can survive a circle of bad basketball coaches. Mark, you've been over there in the basketball offices. Do you think football and finances trump basketball?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if your football team's rolling, everything is good. Everybody else is excited. The budgets are great. So I think his biggest hire was Butch Jones and getting that one correct. This one will be big, but it also leads me to believe if you're making a decision, if I'm Dave Hart and I know that if I'm going to take a risk or take a conservative standpoint because I have football in my back pocket, I might lean a little bit more conservative than go out and jump on a limb and take a guy out we think he could be really good, but he might also flop. So you might take a guy that is more proven, not as high of a ceiling,
right,
just because you're trying to save it and not lose your job if you have to change coaches in 2 years.
And I think it's important to hire somebody that can kind of unify this fan base, because it's going to be 2 or 3 years before we know what type of basketball coach you're getting. I mean, really, when you're looking at how far down this is going to be now, 3 head coaches in 3 years. So I think it's going to take at least a couple of seasons to give you an accurate idea of what the direction you're headed. And in that time, if football keeps getting better, I mean, that's only going to help you.
And to go to Chuck's point a little bit, that's the thing about how big of a hire it is. Now, I think it's a little bit bigger. I think if you get another Donnie Tyndall and it just explodes in your face, I think that changes things greatly. But for the most part, you're talking about 3 years down the road before you know whether or not this was a good hire or not. So Dave Hart has time, and then like his football keeps getting better. But if football hits a bump, an unexpected bump, then all of a sudden the basketball thing comes to the forefront.
You're right. If they get if Dobbs gets injured this year and they go back to 5-7, then it's all back to Dave Hart's shoulders. I agree with you. Next one, a lot of folks are out there saying spend money. Spend the money. Throw the money. I always wonder, why don't they write the big checks? I mean, is it fair? Is it fair for fans who don't give big money to expect your major donors, the Haslams, the Charlie Ergen, the Andersons? Do they expect? Is it right for them to say, "Hey, go buy me an entertaining basketball coach or football coach"? I don't think it is. If you're willing to go to the GoFundMe thing, I would go fund UT before I went to fund the Bruce Pearl thing, because that ain't happening. But if you're going to call for a big coach and not put your own check in the mail to UT, I think your words are kind of hollow.
The GoFundMe thing proves your point, because people aren't going there and giving it.
Yet. I think it'll wind up decent, but it won't be crazy.
No, I don't think it'll even. What's decent?
I think you'll get a couple thousand probably. You may have one drunk that gets on there and puts in 10,000, but I don't think it's going to mean anything.
Well, I think no, I don't think the price tag is all relative of what you're going to get. I think you want to get a guy who wants to be here, but the other thing I worry about is you talk about Richard Pitino, right? All right, so say he takes a job and he has 3 years, his dad retires now, does he go take over for Pitino at Louisville? I think you want a guy that you feel like in the interview process, this is a destination because, God forbid, even if it's 2-3 years and he gets the program above schedule, which I think Coach Tyndall had, does he leave to go take his next job? And now we're talking about him like we talk about Lane Kiffin because he goes and takes his dream job.
And see, I think that's another reason why, and people may not like it because he hasn't gone to Final Fours, and they might not like it because he just got pushed out at Texas. But that is another reason I think Rick Barnes should be high on that list. One, he brings stability. Two, he brings a name value to him. Three, if you win 20 games in 16 out of 17 years and you get to the tournament every year in a tougher league than the SEC, and the Big 12's got good basketball, I think that you deserve, I think you could do well in the SEC. And I think it would be a final destination job for Rick Barnes. Wife is a graduate at UT. He's from Hickory. I think he would be super motivated to prove I ain't done yet.
And
after
I
being
think
whacked by Texas.
I think that's the first person you call, and if he's interested in the job, I believe you have him at the top of your list, and you might even be pretty close to getting past to some money talk.
I mean, it's not sexy. I mean, Bobby Hurley, he's been 2 years a coach. I think Rick Barnes is 100 times safer than Bobby Hurley, but I think you got a lot of people out there who want, Bobby Hurley's young and cool and people know the name and he'll be on ESPN. Mark, you've been in the business. How do you rank that kind of stuff? Rick Barnes versus a younger name?
Well, and I think you also have to put it in our bubble, so to speak, of everything that's going on.
Correct, yes.
I think that consistent value that Rick has shown, he's won everywhere he's been. You brought it up on the show with Bo Ryan or even Coach Pearl. Yes, it was a Division III or Division II level, but they won there. They won at the midweight. They have a winning culture about them, as opposed to some of these guys. They might end up being great, but I don't think Dave Hart and the athletic program can take a risk on a guy that's only won for 2 or 3 years. And they have to take a guy who's proven.
When they brought in Bruce Pearl, and we were doing the show, that would have been our second or third year, and I liked that choice. There were some people that wanted Mike Anderson at the time. There were some other guys. I liked that choice, and the reason was not what he did at Milwaukee. I'm never for hiring a guy just for a Sweet 16 run. I was impressed that the guy was the fastest to 400 wins other than Roy Williams. Most of that was at Southern Indiana. I don't care that that's Division II. He was beating his equals, out-recruiting, beating his equals at a tremendous pace, and that kind of thing. And Barnes has done that.
And John, I would say, too, on your question about, paying the big bucks, writing the big check does not guarantee success.
Anthony Grant.
Right.
I mean, and you got to look at it that way.
Yeah.
And so many fans think, well, just go pay him like Nick Saban type money and we'll be competing for national championships. That's not the case.
Or just because they come from a coaching tree of a North Carolina coaching tree, or they got that doesn't mean that individual is going to be successful. I mean, look at no disrespect, great guy, but Coach Buzz Peterson, great. Yes. I mean, he was Michael Jordan's roommate, so all of a sudden he should get every job after that. No, hire a guy that's a proven winner, and you got a better chance to at least stabilizing this program.
I agree. Final word, Bob Hodge.
That's the reason. Everything that was said is the reason I think you do go try to get Rick Barnes. You said, do you go for the flash? Do you go conservative? I think that's a conservative hire. Mm-hmm. He's 60 years old. If he coaches 5 years, he stabilizes the program. But say he lifts the program, he could be here for 12 years.
Oh,
because you got a lot of coaches that coach that age. So I think that's the one that makes the most sense. I kind of like going the conservative angle on this hire.
What a surprise for you.
Yes, it is.
Spurrier was hired at 60, and that's worked out pretty well in South Carolina, so I wouldn't put age as a factor. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to SportsSource.tv. You can catch us on Channel 6 next Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you very much.